Hey everybody, it's Jean Nathan. It's Crosstown Conversations, and we have a blast for you today. I mean, this is going to be one fun show because we have nothing but people who have developed a whole cultural world around themselves. Let's put it that way. We've got Delish, who is a fantastic performer, originally from Violet. Don't tell anybody. And then we have the Rollergirls, and we have Baby Dolls. How can you have more fun in one show than that? That is just too much fun. So be with us, stay with us. We're going to have some good times. We're going to start out with Delish. Delish is a performer, a rapper. Yes, you go by that. And performs regionally, performs nationally. And she's originally from Violet. Now, I mentioned that primarily because I've been doing a lot of work in St. Bernard lately, art-related things. And St. Bernard is embracing the arts in a way that is just phenomenal.
Yeah.
You know about that?
They're finally catching on.
Isn't it interesting? It did take a minute.
It took them a good minute.
But you know, with that Studio Araby and with the museum we got down there in Poitras, and now you have the cultural district in Araby and artists moving into Araby. I mean, what do you think?
Oh, well, you know, Araby was one thing before Katrina. It's something completely, but it's a good, you know, they're bringing in the positive vibes, you know what I mean? Everybody's, you know, adding more togetherness in the neighborhood, you know what I mean? So it's all love, you know.
Now, you have to tell me about how you became the performer that you are, and we're going to play some of your music pretty soon, so people will hear what you're all about. But how you became the performer you are out of St. Bernard.
You know, I was telling somebody yesterday. I was like, when you know you're going to be something, you know, it's like I couldn't never see myself, you know, and you know, be something less than what I wanted to be. You know what I mean? So it was like, you know, and coming from St. Bernard, a lot of people, you know, it's like music is the last thing that you can make it in. You know what I mean? It's like you can only hope to be at, like, you know, a lot of levels, like just to be known in New Orleans. You know what I mean? You can, you know, it's only like a dream, you know. So for me, like, it was not giving up on it. You know what I mean? It was like, you know, I focused on what was more important. You know, if I wanted it, I had to keep working for it. You know what I mean? So.
Yeah. Now, so how young were you when you started seeing this direction?
When I started seeing myself as like a performer, like, probably 11.
You know, so yesterday, over the weekend rather, I was in Guitar City, right? I was trying to pick up a piece of equipment, and at a table with a computer in front of her and a screen and her headphones on, working away was a 5-year-old.
Yeah.
I said, can I say this on the air? I don't know. Damn.
Ooh.
I mean, what was this? And so I taught her uncle happened to work in the store, and he was there, and he said, man, she's been at it. And she's determined. And I think this is so true of so many people in the creative fields, that it happens young. Yeah. And as you said, you used the word, you couldn't see yourself as less than what you wanted to be. Yeah. That's a very strong statement. And that's something that I think anybody who really kind of rises to the occasion, that's their slogan.
I mean, I know that, you know, I have to give it, like, even being like a female rapper, I have to give it like 175%, you know, or 200% more. You know, it's like always 100% more than what somebody else would do, because it's like I have a lot of odds against me. You know what I mean? So it's like every show I have to come banging, boom, 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 because I know if I don't, people going to forget about, you know, all the hard work. You know, it could easily be forgotten.
So that doesn't make you angry that you have to work harder?
It does make me, and that's why I give it a 200. You know, it's a, you know, it's something that nobody wants to deal with. You know what I mean? But it's like,
it's like that.
I crave it. I want it. It's like I want the people to be like, you know, because I'm going to keep giving it to them. Rather you know, support me, or if you don't support me, it's like I'm going to keep giving it to you until you recognize that I'm not stopping. I'm going to keep going, you know, till somebody, you know, catches on, you know.
Sounds like our presidential candidate, Miss Hillary. I'm serious. Doesn't that sound like what she has to say? Because she's had to like overcome. As Trump keeps saying, you've been at it for 30 years, Hillary, what have you done? And she's saying, yeah, I've been at it for 30 years preparing to be president. How about you? Right? And she's been working at it. So, yeah, I hear what you're saying. So how would you describe your music? And then, Jazz, we're going to get ready to play a little bit of her. He's not quite ready, so tell me about it.
All of my music is, it's rap. Most people who listen to it would consider it trap, and it's like, I always say that there's a difference between what I'm doing and what, other artists are doing. It's like, you have artists who, it's a trend. Everybody wants to be a rapper, you know what I mean? So everybody's doing the same thing. It's like, that's not how I want my music to come across. I don't want to, I literally don't listen to any rap music before, I record, because I want the story to come from me. You know what I mean? I don't want to listen to somebody say something and I'm like, ooh, I want to say that on a song. You know what I mean? I want to come genuinely from how I feel. So I guess,
here we go.
Sexy, I'm sexy, now tell me. I see you hating, come test me. I'm made of gold, you dusty. Talk about another that's messy. You a shady cop, arrest me. Or you can beat me down for my nesty. Give me another that's crusty. Tick tock, tick, I got your watch on the clock. Besides from being cocky, I'm the realest on the block. Tick tock, tick, you see me coming for your spot. My bars are straight golden, plus I don't do shots.
The goddess here, the goddess here, the goddess here, and she dripping all this gold. Hey, the goddess here, the goddess here, the goddess here, and she dripping all this gold. Hey.
Purple drink, I sip till I feel pink. I got my fur jackets, them fur clacks, don't touch them, it looks like mink. I keep that rose gold with my gold, so I keep limit all the way to the bank. I'm lubed up from head to toe, like I really get what you think. I got 5, there's 5 that clean out of my sink. If one hand fell off, I got another to replace. I hate to put all in their face, for the ones that wanna get a taste. I will only make them my baby daddy, that don't mean I'm make them my king, cuz
the goddess here, the goddess here, the goddess here, and she dripping all this gold. Hey, the goddess here, the goddess here, the goddess here, and she dripping all this gold. Hey, the goddess here, the goddess here, the goddess here, and she dripping all this gold. Hey, the goddess here, the goddess here, the goddess here, and she dripping.
All right, now that is some very good stuff. Okay, I want to know two things about it. I want to know about the lyrics, so I need you to talk about the lyrics a little bit, and I want to understand about your production. It's creative production. This is not, just slapdash, whatever. It's not whatever music. It's very deliberate. So I want to hear about both the music and the lyrics.
Well, the lyrics, I always see each thing that I put out, it comes from a handful, like just being either really, really depressed or going through it, or just like, going through something, you know what I mean? It's like, it gives me more, like it makes me just like say I don't deserve this, so I just start writing how I feel on on a paper, or like I'll type it on my phone, and it's like, this is how I feel in this moment, and I just start going at it. Just one of my lyrics is it's gotten better over the years, to say.
How would you say? What makes you say that? Where did you come from, and where are you now?
The first line that I ever wrote musically was "I'm Princess Danger." Like that was like my first line like ever when I was young. I'm Princess Danger, and literally that was probably going to be my name if I had like a microphone around me. That probably was going to be my name. You know what I mean? So it's like I come from that to saying, okay, I'm Delish. You know what I'm saying? Like that's just what it is. It's like this is who I'm presenting in front
So
of
you say Delish as opposed to
tasty.
Delish.
It could be anything. Some people call me Deli. It's like
Deli.
Cool. Like
I come from New York. Deli means
Deli.
a real layout of food.
It's why I got plenty. I have a lot to give.
All right. Music. How about the music?
The music, the production. When I recorded my first song, like not my first song ever, but like first real song that I was really, really focused about, it was at my brother's and his friends at they had the studio or whatever, and they had a Windows computer and they had cool Edit Pro, you know what I mean, with this microphone, But the element that there was in it was this is a studio to me, you know what I mean? I'm looking at how they're putting things together, how they're, when they do songs, how they go about recording the songs, and you know what I mean, to the point where it's like I'm learning from them, every second as I go on. It's like, from what I took what they did, and I said, okay, I can do this myself. Just got to keep going at it, you know what I mean? Keep, okay, I know how to move this because they taught me how to move this, you know what I mean? To the point, like, I edit my tracks, you know what I mean? Now it's like, it's having... You
do your own editing of your
now
tracks?
I do my own because of them. They taught me, like, just sitting with them, like, for a whole weekend. I just watched them, like, record. And
Where do you record?
I record at my house now.
At your house, sure.
But it's always been in Violet. Like, it's just Violet, you know what I mean? At their house, it's in Violet. You know what I mean? My house is in Violet.
So Violet's your inspiration.
Oh, Violet, you know everybody in the neighborhood. Mom know everybody in the neighborhood. You know what I mean? It's like, it's love. I know all of them family. You know what I mean? It's like, they're going to take care of me. You know what I'm saying? So, can't leave Violet. It's like, that's my place.
It's just so interesting. It's like kind of like I'll never forget Fats Domino talking about the Ninth Ward.
Mm-hmm.
And I think a lot of people around the country never think about the fact that he never left the Ninth Ward. Or Kermit never leaving Treme. And just people are so locked into their place here. Place is of course, there's always that thing about how you ask people in New Orleans where are they from, and it's not about what country or city or it's about which high school are you from.
Yeah.
What high school did you go to?
Chalmette High.
And did you learn music at Chalmette?
I learned TV production at Chalmette, but
really?
I did do a little bit of I'm really horrible at it, but I did music while, going to show. It's like I always thought, it was like when I graduated high school, I didn't want to go to college. You know what I mean? It was like, I'd rather do music. Like I really wanted to put all my heart and soul into the music. So I was like I love Chalmette, it was a cool school, but,
So you didn't do it. You didn't go on.
I didn't do music. I didn't do music in Chalmette.
You went into your music rather.
I was just really getting into it.
Okay.
When I was in like the 11th grade, you know what I mean? But it was, I never I didn't join like a choir. You know what I mean?
Did you get support from your family or friends in what you were doing, or did
friends are like
parents were probably freaked out.
Oh, they freaking out right now. My mama told me the other day, who am I calling a bunch of B's and H's, and I'm like, oh, not you, not you, mama. I'm not calling you that. But I respect. I don't say it in front of them. You know what I mean? I'm like, okay, but my friends are like the inspiration to every single song. It's like. Because my friend, I think we're like a weird bunch of kids. It's like when I had to, I sit and I told, my DJ and, one of my best friends, Tiffy P, I was like, at the other show that we just did, I'm like, I just started looking around. I looked at every single one of us, and I'm like, yo, we look real funny right now. Like, why are we, you know what I mean? I'm like, if people walk in, because Tiffy P is doing a body roll. Like, she's in a chair body rolling, and I'm just, doing this, and I'm like, look at us. As a core, we need to get it together. You know what I mean? But it's those crazy MFs, I'm not going to curse on it, but those crazy MFs, they're the inspiration to the song. They just, if they like it, I love it. You know what I mean? It's like, it goes through them first, you know what I mean? Before I even put it out, it's like, how do y'all feel about this? You know what I'm saying? Y'all like it? Boom, boom. I've been surprising them lately with some stuff. I'll just be like, oh, I'm putting it out. You know what I mean? And just, if it wasn't for them, I would have stopped doing music completely.
Really? Yeah. So they were really your support system in a lot of ways.
Oh, yeah.
And your muse. It sounds like they were literally your muse.
Yeah. Yeah.
Where are you going from here?
Hope to the top. I hope I can just, I'm not going to stop, I got to keep going. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I feel like I got these, all these people's lives. I'm like, yo, I got y'all. Like, y'all been supporting me. It's time for me to give back to them, you know what I mean? So to do that, I got to keep going and going and going and going, you know what I mean?
So how does that work? How are you plotting your career out? What steps are you taking? And I ask you these questions because one of the things I do a lot, I have a company, I have a nonprofit called the Creative Alliance of New Orleans, and we're all about trying to help creatives understand how to build their careers. So I always like to share your story of how you're building your career with other people. You've already said a lot of it has to do with your determination. It has to do with your friends and working with your friends and filtering things through them. But tell me the steps that you see that you're going to have to take to get where you want to go.
Be more. I mean, social media is controlling everything right now, and I was a little late to join social media, but I feel like as for every artist out there, you know what I mean. It's putting yourself out there is a hard thing, you know what I mean. So it's like once you break into social media, you have to really to get recognition, you got to, do things in a certain way. And I'm starting to recognize that, like, I have to keep, I have to be more vocal on that end, you know what I mean? Kind of being vocal to, it's like when I don't perform, you know what I mean? It's like, where am I? You know what I mean? It's like, and it's not coming with the people who's been supporting me. It's like, I have to be with them. I have to, talk to them. I have to be, you know what I mean? It's like, a show is one thing, but, when you talk to me outside of a show, it's a completely different person you're talking to. So just being more social with the people, being more out there, putting myself more out there and seeing where it goes.
So how do you feel about New Orleans as your base?
No, that's a good question. You don't really have an outlet, I feel, for musicians, you know what I mean? Like other states, like other cities, you have, Atlanta, they have a good, outlet for like up and coming artists, you know what I mean? It's,
well, what do you mean? What kind of an outlet are you talking about that they have and we don't?
It's we don't have any. It's like when you have an artist with a big name, you know what I mean. It's like it's hard for them to really say they're from New Orleans, to stay in New Orleans and help out other artists to build. It's like like I said, just being a rapper like in Atlanta would probably be easier than being a rapper in New Orleans. You know what I mean? Because it's like you have all these people who want it. It's music for them. It's like, you're new, come here, you know what I'm saying? Let's work together, In LA, it was a completely different vibe. It's like they have groups of creative energy, you know what I mean? It's like it's easier to be a performer, a rapper in any other city than it is to be in New Orleans.
And that's just an incredible statement, considering that we are considered worldwide as such an important creative nurturing ground, as a creative, I want to say Mecca, but Mecca's not really a good word because of what you're just saying, that you have to go someplace else to build it. So what is the problem here? What are we lacking? And is it something that a number of musicians historically in New Orleans have tried to build the industry? So, C. Saint Studios worked on it. Before them, Cosmo Matassa worked on it. But we never did become, Nashville or even Muscle Shoals or Miami for that matter, and Motown. Motown's music came from New Orleans, but they built it up there. What I feel like, is it something that the musicians themselves can repair or not?
I think it can be done through them because you have to want it. You can't, like I said, it's like it's harder to be here than any other place. So when you see that, it's like almost wasting your time doing it, like keep going and going and going. It starts to get to you and you're like, I don't want to do this no more, because it's hard. It's like,
see, but you're saying that at the same time that you were saying that your friends and Violet
my friends
are your foundation.
Once somebody, like, Bryant Welms, he's the one who gave me my first show in 2014, almost a year and a half after I put out my first EP. You know what I mean? It's like I didn't have shows, you know what I'm saying? He gave me a chance and I had to just do it, you know what I mean? And from there, somebody else saw me and was like, would you want to do this show? Do it. I did punk shows, you know what I mean? My first show was a punk show. My second show was a punk show, and I'm a rapper, It's breaking into different crowds and giving them what they want, you know what I mean? It's like I didn't break into the rap community. I still don't feel like I'm considered a rapper. That's why I think being around all of these people that I've been around is like, I've intensified as an artist, you know what I mean? It's like I want to have fun at my shows, I don't want to stress about this, and that. It's like it's time to have fun. Like we have to give this crowd what they pay for and what they want,
You familiar with Tank and the Bangars?
Yeah.
Have you heard them perform?
Yeah.
So what do you think about them?
I like that.
So they strike me as in a way related to you in a sense. They're a little bit more experimental, I guess you might say, going out and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But again, she's doing in a way what you're talking about, and that is like doing her thing, not trying to be part of the boys' club.
Yeah. And that's how you have to. It's like every show. It's like, you know, if I approach a man, I'm letting them know I'm better than you. You know what I mean? It's like I'm going after the men more so than going after, you know what I'm saying? It's like I'm letting every man up in here, like I'm letting you know, like this is where I'm at and this is how I'm going to throw boom, boom, boom. You know what I mean? It's like, you know, the song, like I literally did a song called The Goddess because it's like this is what, you know, Mother Earth, you know, this is how you were created. You know what I mean? It's like this is a woman's world. You know what I'm saying? This ain't no man's world, you know. So it's like getting it straight with them, like getting it right with them.
Really? You think so, huh?
Yeah.
And so what kind of response are you getting from them?
They just look, it's almost like they don't like, they just, you know, I remember I did a porch show and I just walked past, like after doing the show, and I was just waiting, I just walked past them and they just looked at me, they just stared at me and I'm like, you know what I mean? It's like, I feel like it's, you know, for any woman, they'll probably get hit on, you know what I'm saying? Or like, you know, it's like, they don't want, they're like, I'm not going to hit on you like you something else. You know what I mean? Like, you've gained my respect in a way. You know what I mean? So it's like, okay.
You just gave me chills. That's pretty powerful. That's pretty powerful stuff.
Yeah.
That's what you're trying to do.
Yeah. You know, I'm never going to be a Nicki Minaj. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm never going to be a size, you know, 10 the way that they want. I'm never going to be, you know what I'm saying? Like, all I can do is be me. You know what I'm saying? This is how I feel about myself, which every woman should feel about themselves. You know, every woman's a goddess. You know, you just got to treat yourself as if you are a goddess, and the rest will come to you.
When I have that 5-year-old on my show, I'm going to have you come back and meet her and give her some tips because she's going down your path.
Oh.
This has been a pleasure, Delish, a.k.a. Gabrielle Major.
Uh-oh.
Oh, I shouldn't have put that out?
Yeah. No, you okay. You okay. That's my name.
From Violet, Louisiana,
Hey.
St. Bernard.
Woo.
I am all excited about what's happening down there, and I was surprised initially, but not really that you're from there. And I congratulate you on what you're doing.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for coming in, and we're going to have you back. You just keep me informed on what you're doing. And when you reach that next, you got something come up.
I got
Please.
something coming up.
How can we forget?
Friday and Saturday, I'll be at the Music Box, the opening of the Music Box on Rampart Street, I believe it's
Rampart Street.
Rampart
right
Street.
by the Industrial Canal, basically.
Yes. And I'll also be doing an after party that Saturday night at Port. Come through. And next Saturday.
Tell them where Port is, because not everybody
Port
knows.
on Port Street, Port Street, New Orleans. It's that big warehouse. And October 8th, I'm releasing my first music video. We're having a premiere party at Voodoo Lounge. Everybody should come through. Doors open at 10. It's $10 to get in. You know, it's going to be a really, really incredible event. The director, Sean, he did something, you know what I'm saying? He got all these cameras, you know, with all this thing, you know, had me feeling like a queen. So it's like this video is going to be something else, and I would like everybody to come out and check it.
Have you got a website?
I don't have a website, but y'all can follow me on Instagram, Collard Greens 5. Follow my Facebook page, Delish the Goddess. And that's it. I mean, I got delishmusic.bandcamp.com to download all the music. Forgot about that. Y'all go get that music. It's free.
Say that again.
delishmusic.bandcamp.com.
All right.
Ooh.
Okay. Delish, that was a pleasure, and I look forward to hearing a lot more about you.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much.
Hey.
Okay, now that was pretty hot little segment there, but we just keep going here. We got the Rollergirls in-house, and my producer, Maggie Mullins, is going to do this interview, so I'm just going to sit back and enjoy myself, and let's start, however, with just making sure that y'all introduce yourselves.
Okay.
You all going to have to talk into the mic.
Right.
I'm sorry, we don't have enough mics here. Yeah.
I'm Megan Auntie M. Boudreaux with Big Easy Rollergirls.
Hi, Claudia Santoyo, a.k.a. Power Snatch.
I'm Jake Potter, announcer for the Big Easy Rollergirls, also known as Leg Luther.
He's got that voice. All right, Maggie, go.
All right, everyone. I'm Maggie, or I just came up with a name today, Maggie Mayhem. That's my,
Nice.
on-the-fly name. So I just wanted to give everyone a little background on the Big Easy Rollergirls. And so the Big Easy Roller Girls were founded in 2004 after seeing a rebirth of roller derby going on in my homeland of South Texas, Austin, Texas. And then they started getting a following, and then in August of 2005, of course, Katrina hit, and a lot of the founding members were scattered around the country. So they began the process of rebuilding their communities, and they really earned their slogan of "We skate through hell and high water." And so since then, it's just grown and become a really important tool, I think, of rebuilding not only community after Katrina, but also creating a community of empowerment for women around New Orleans. And now they've got a recreational league in addition to their original Big Easy Roller Girl League, which is having a boot camp coming up, right?
That's correct.
Yeah, I'll let you guys talk about that. And, yeah, so there's my quick lesson. And everyone already gave their names and their roller derby names, which is my favorite part of roller derby. And so, Claudia, I know you're an attorney with your own practice, and so I'm assuming the answer to this is yes, but do you feel like you having these derby names helps you take on a different persona on the track and off the track?
I think it can. I think it depends on the person. I picked my name because it sounds dirty, but it's not. It's basically an Olympic weightlifting event. The power snatch is when you lift the weight all the way from the ground up over your head in one clean motion. I do remember when we were first getting back together in 2006, because I'm OG, I go all the way back. The newspaper here in New Orleans would not publish my name in the paper because they thought it was something dirty. But you can actually Google it at work, and it's totally safe for work.
It's totally
so,
SFW.
Yeah. But, yeah, so the names, I think, is something fun. It's something that we're getting away from a little more as the competition becomes more difficult and the teams, want to move to something that's a little more sport, especially for the higher level teams. But for teams that are either regionally competitive or locally competitive, and you're not looking at that top tier kind of competition, it's still something that's really fun and the audience, enjoys.
Yeah. So you don't feel like Power Snatch is a different woman than Claudia?
No, I don't think we're different. I think I'm allowed to be a little less, tucked in when I'm not at court, but I'm not the kind of person that can hide who I am, and so I just go with it.
Okay.
Yeah, some girls definitely choose their name. Some girls definitely choose their name based on their personality that they already have, and some girls choose a name because it sounds good, and then you realize they kind of grow into their name, which is really fantastic when you see them start from little baby giraffes up till,
So where did yours come from, Auntie M?
I really wanted a tank girl name, but unfortunately at the time all the good ones were taken. But I'm a huge Wizard of Oz fan, so I decided to go the Wizard of Oz route. And for a little while I even had our announcers announcing me as the Wicked Witch of the West Bank, which has kind of fallen off, but it was fun for a minute.
That was really fun. So do you guys feel like being roller girls has been a tool of empowerment for you guys?
Yeah, definitely. I know for myself, I started in 2005 right before Katrina hit, and it was, there was not a lot of people, and I had not been on roller skates in maybe 20 years, so it was a lot of pain. Then Katrina happened, and I came back in around March of 2006, and for me, I lost everything in Araby. My house was in Araby, and so in the process of rebuilding, it was also a process of rebuilding myself and rebuilding the fact that I can do this. So why I liked it is when you're on the track, the only thing you can think about is pick up your left foot, put it back down, pick up your right foot, put it back down, don't fall down, breathe in and out. And it gave you a moment, for that 90 minutes of practice or that 2 hours of practice to take you out of real life, out of the change in the smell when you hit the parish line, out of, the sight in your mind of your house covered in mud, and it was, for a lot of people, and myself included, something that was essential to being able to just survive after that experience. Since then, it's also a really great way to work out. without feeling like you're working out. You can burn a ridiculous thousands of calories in a practice. I've worn a heart rate monitor and actually tracked it. You feel like you did it, but it's not the same as running on a treadmill going, oh my God, I'm never going to finish this. I mean, it's personal development. It's meeting the coolest bunch of chicks you've ever wanted to play on the track with, and all of the guys that come with roller derby too, who are, empowering to women just as much as the other women. They really get it. Thankfully, we have one of those guys with us today. It's something that I think the sport generates organically.
I want to ask a question for a minute. So I just want to make sure that the audience who may or may not be familiar with what roller girls are and what roller derbies are, give us just a little background on that.
Let's let the announcer do that, because that's actually his job.
It actually is part of my job. Basically, roller derby is a 5-on-5 team sport in which two teams are competing to get the most points. Only one person on each team is called the jammer, and they can score the points. And the jammer gets a point for every person she passes after her initial pass. So there's a little bit of an element of football with it, is you have to get through people and around them, and it's speed skating. It's an intense, high impact sport that will leave you breathless just watching the athleticism.
Where do you watch it? Where do you do it?
Well, you can find us this summer at the UNO Lakefront Arena for our games. So.
And you guys can't see because you're listening, but Claudia's arm is in a little sling. Is that a roller derby accident?
Yes.
Look at that. That is legit.
I tore the large tendon in my right shoulder at a scrimmage, and then I've just recently had surgery to repair it. What's interesting though is I didn't know I dislocated it, and it went right back in during the scrimmage, so I didn't feel it was necessary to stop skating at that point. And then I skated, I think, 3 or 4 more jams before we were done for the night, and it wasn't till I got home when I'm like, something's not right. So, these things happen.
Yeah. And then she played a couple games on the shoulder.
Wow.
I wasn't convinced that it was as badly damaged as it was, so it took an MRI before I believed it. But it's all fixed now. It's totally fine.
So you're out on the track still?
Well, we're at the off season right now, so that's why I took the time to, let the doctors do their magic, and I should be rehabbing after the next 3 weeks. I got 3 more weeks in this, monstrosity, and then the fun rehab starts. So yeah.
So speaking of off season, you guys have a boot camp coming up on the 1st.
We do. We're kind of trying something new this year, and we really want to give people who are interested in roller derby an opportunity to see what it's like to be a roller girl for 2 weeks. So we're calling it Derby 101. And it gives you an opportunity to go through sort of a normal practice schedule and get some basic skills and drills and the basics of roller derby for 2 weeks. We're starting on Saturday, October 1st. Our first practice will be at Audubon Park, and we'll go through some dryland exercises so you can see kind of the cross training that we do, and we'll do a park skate, and then we're also running practices on Mondays and Thursdays evenings at Skate Country on Terry Parkway, where we're going to run through how to skate like a roller girl.
Okay. And so what, to you, Megan, is the number one reason to join Big Easy Roller Girls?
I have like 50 reasons to join Big Easy Roller Girls. I think I would not be lying to say that joining roller derby absolutely changed my life. I joined in 2006. Post-Katrina, when all my friends were moving away, and I needed something to do, and I didn't realize that I was going to find not only a very time-consuming and awesome hobby, gym, social group. I really met an amazing number of people through roller derby that I would never know if I hadn't joined. There's no way to know all these people who are lawyers and teachers and doctors and from all parts of town. We even have people who are coming in from Mississippi and the North Shore now who are skating with us. So it's really awesome to get this great mix of professions and backgrounds. And then I mean, I met my husband through roller derby. I got my job because of roller derby. I mean, you network, especially when you're talking about a town as small as New Orleans. It's like networking on so many levels. I can't even describe to you how my life would not be what it is right now.
So, would you guys agree with Delish that every woman deserves to feel like a goddess?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, if you don't, then seek out something that's going to bring that joy to your life. And I mean, for me, feeling like a goddess means being the person I am on the inside, on the outside. Making sure that those insides and outsides match. Depending what you do for a living, I know in my line of work, I have to have a game face. And I have to be able to put aside, the tribulations of a normal, human being's life, or the fact that my opposing attorneys can just be horrible to me. You have to set that stuff aside and do what you have to do. But at the end of the day, if you don't have a group of people that you can let down those guards and just be your authentic self, no matter what that is, then you need to find it. And roller derby might be that thing for a lot of people. The great thing about roller derby is it's available to people regardless of what size you are. You do not have to previously be in any kind of athletic shape. You don't have to know how to roller skate. We will teach you how to do that. And you can come, and if you like it, but you're not in a place where you can do something competitively and risk an injury, then you can do the recreational league. Well, we'll still teach you and let you push yourself to wherever you want to go, but you don't have to, feel as nervous because no one's going to be gunning for you, and hitting you inappropriately. But yeah, it's a great avenue, and it can be something that a lot of people would enjoy. It's also great for guys to come and be supportive, and there's a lot of jobs that are on skates and off skates that gentlemen can do if they want to be with their partner. It's not required by any means, but it sure does make for more fun. And like I said, we've had quite a lot of derby marriages. It does happen.
So what you're saying is that if you join roller derby, you will become a goddess and become employed and get married, find a husband.
It's very well possible.
Okay.
I'll say this. If you join roller derby, for sure, you have a place to stay in probably every major city in the United States through one Facebook post. I can guarantee you that. Because that can happen as soon as you have a derby picture in your profile, you basically have street cred now with the derby community.
Well, those are some glowing endorsements for roller derby. You guys have some events coming up. There's one tonight.
Yes, we have. We're screening Whip It at Second Line Brewery. It's a great way for you to come out and meet the current members of the team, and I think we have a few alums coming out. And to find out how you can become a part of it, you can learn more about our Derby 101 program coming up. And also, if you don't want to be a skater, I'll be on hand to tell you how to be involved in other aspects of the Big Easy Rollergirls.
Yeah, so tonight it's at Second Line Brewery at 433 North Bernadette Street.
That is correct.
And so, Jake, can you take us out with your best announcer voice? Can you say, this has been the Big Easy Roller Girls on Crosstown Conversations?
This has been the Big Easy Roller Girls on Crosstown Conversations on WBOK, 12:30 a.m.
Awesome. Thank you.
Cool.
Great,
and
guys.
how's that, guys, for Maggie Mullen's debut run? Bravo. Yay. Thank you, loves. It was fabulous. That was a lot of fun.
And I'm sorry, can I mention one more thing? If you want more information, feel free to check out our website at www.bigeasyrollergirls.com.
There you go.
Thank you so much.
All right, guys. I did some roller skating in my days. Down the country roads even, but not in the derby. That was a little too scary for me. And, okay, so, we talked about how we had the incredible show. We started with Delish. We had the Rollergirls, but we got to go out with the tradition of New Orleans that has been one of the most coveted places to be on Mardi Gras Day is anywhere where the baby dolls are. And I've chased you down, you guys. I've seen you out there. I've seen you both out there. Put your headsets on just in case anybody wants to call in and talk to a baby doll. So we're going to, I got to shut my phone off here. Somebody's being insistent. And We're going to talk about kind of the origins and what's going on now and what to expect with Mardi Gras. So first of all, introduce yourselves.
Okay, my name is Joycelyn Green Askew. I've been a baby doll since 2012 after finding out that I had a history that I had no knowledge of my great aunt who was a baby doll in the 1920s. And through becoming a baby doll, I've met a lot of interesting, wonderful people such as who I have with me here today.
Introduce yourself.
My name is Merline Kimble, and we are Gold Digger Baby Dolls, descended from my family's group that was in the 30s.
Wow.
And ended in the early 40s because of World War II. They drafted them in. The baby dolls are like the first Mardi Gras female group. Before the baby dolls, her aunt was before my family. Her aunt was like in the early 20s as a baby doll, as a beautiful baby doll, I must add. I've been seeing her aunt's picture like all my life, but I didn't know it was her. And we met by chance, and she became a Gold Digger baby doll, and a picture came up. I said, I've seen this picture. All my life I've been seeing this picture. This picture is everywhere. And it's a very famous photo of her aunt. And but when the war started, the men were drafted. My grandfather was drafted, and at that time he had 9 children and was drafted into World War II. So when the men left the group, then the group disbanded. So
you're saying that basically the original marching group was male and female?
No, my family's group was, but the others were all female.
Oh, okay.
And it was the first time that women came out. And, the Storyville came out with a group. They came out to get their customers and to bring them back. But the other baby dolls that were out there were not prostitutes. It was just that group of baby dolls that was. I can't stress that enough.
So baby dolls really precedes the Storyville. Storyville kind of co-opted the idea as a way of attracting their customers. So let's be real clear about that, right?
Yes.
But let's go back. So you say this, baby dolls are the first time women marched at Mardi Gras, and so how, do you know about how that happened or why? What was the spark that took the gals out on the street?
I'm going to quote Ben Hunter. The women broke out bold.
I love it. Okay.
Well,
that kind of keeps up the theme of the whole show, doesn't it? When they're talking about the goddesses and
And though you have to realize during that time, if you had a dress and the women looked at you and they kind of saw your knees, they would have you kneel on the floor. And if your dress didn't touch the floor, you had to take that off. And you have to picture these women coming out with dresses like midway the thigh, and it was like shocking. They just broke out bold, and they did it, and they had a good time.
So I understand that, but I still want to know why it happened at that moment. Do we know? Why did they suddenly say, okay, all bets are off. We're coming out. We're doing our dresses up the thigh. None of this knee business.
Well, that's one question I didn't ask. The older ones, maybe Uncle Lionel's sister might be able to answer that question. But I know my family did it because they were a family that was a close-knit family that liked to party and liked to have a good time. And they decided to have their group, and this was like in 1933. So it was amazing, and my grandmother said it was the time in her life where she had the most fun.
It's so much fun to watch. Let's talk about some of the traditions of it. You said you're part of the Gold Diggers baby dolls. So now tell me about Gold Diggers baby dolls.
The Gold Digger baby dolls was the name that my grandparents and my grand aunts and uncles and their friends. It was their name. And my grandmother was the last living gold digger baby doll. And I was sitting on a step talking to Trombone Shorty's mom, and I was telling her about it, and she says, well, why don't you do it? And I'm like, do it? Oh, no, there was no baby dolls. You know, you have to think about this.
It had stopped.
It had stopped. Since Uncle Lionel Baptiste and his family, there was no baby dolls, none. And so I said, you know, I'm going to do this. So I called my sister, and I called a bunch of friends, and I told them that I wanted to surprise Grandma and all that. And they all go, okay, let's do it. And we did.
So let's do it. We heard that from Delish, too. She just decided she's going to do it. What about you?
Yeah.
How did you get?
Well, as I said,
This is Joycelyn.
I had no knowledge that my family was even part of the culture until I found the picture. And I had a bucket list. My niece was a baby doll in 2011. I said, I think I want to do that also. It was on my bucket list to dance with a group of women, dress up. It's something I've never, ever done, but something I always wanted to do. And in the process of joining in with my niece, that's when I found out that my aunt's picture was circulating around the city. And they were trying to find out, who is this lady? This lady must have relatives. I have, what you're seeing here, the original picture that I found in a stack of old pictures.
We'll run that picture in our next issue of our newsletter so people can see what we're talking about, because I've actually seen these pictures before too, and so it's a treat to see them right sitting next to me, and we'll put them in our newsletter.
And so from that, I joined a group that paraded with the Zulu parade, and it was amazing to me. I've never been a person that liked to be in the forefront, but to put on that costume and sashay was a wonderful feeling, something I've never experienced at over 50 years of age. But it's just a wonderful feeling. It's a spirit that you get, that when you actually put on that outfit, that it's unexplainable. Everybody, I think, that puts on their, I don't want to call it a costume because I don't consider it a costume. When we dress and we parade, it's a feeling that I think everybody's feeling is different on how they feel. So my feeling about the way I feel is just a spirit, and Merline's feeling is different, but all together, it's just wonderful. And I love it. I love the attention. I never was an attention-getting person, but since then, you know, since pictures have been floating around the city, and I work at Tulane University, and from that experience, when some of the students saw me and on St. Charles in Jackson, all I could hear was my name being called, and the feeling was amazing. And from that, the students selected me to be Naturally New Orleans, and they did a video with me being what it means to be Naturally New Orleans.
I can understand that. Now, what is it you do up at Tulane?
I work in the police department as a police desk dispatcher.
So is there any chance that your spirit and your personality that develops as you sashay with the baby dolls has affected your dispatch style?
Yes, it has, because
I have a feeling.
Yes, it has, because I feel that, you know, when I'm dealing with students and other people's children, that New Orleans spirit, I portray that. I portray what it means actually to be here in New Orleans. I've been here all my life. I love it. I don't think I would ever leave here. And the culture is just something that's not anywhere else. I met a stranger yesterday, and he said, I just love to just go sit in the French quarters and absorb the music and absorb the culture.
So I have two questions about that. So we have all this culture going, but you heard Delish earlier in the show talk about how difficult it is for her to build her career from here. How does that make? Is that something you experience and know about and hear about from other folks? And then my second question is, how about all these new young folks who've been moving to town? And do you live in Tremay?
No, I live on the West Bank.
You're in the West Bank, and you live in
Tremay.
Tremay. So, I mean, Tremay, for one, I live in Tremay, and I tell you, we're seeing a lot of new people move in, right? So I worry about how is this going to affect this culture we're talking about.
I think that when people come to New Orleans, they get an unexpected gift. They get a gift of family. They get a gift of friends. And they come here with one knowledge of what they think New Orleans people are. And if they leave with a better understanding of who we are, what we're about, and why we do the things we do. As far as Delish, I think that she does have some challenges in her career, but I believe that as long as she sticks with who she is, what she believes in, I think she'll go a long way.
You have that feeling, huh?
I have.
Me too.
Well,
yeah.
if you didn't see us, we were like...
Oh, no, I saw you. I didn't miss that at all. No, I had Maggie take a picture of you because I saw you. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, because that music that's pretty good stuff, right?
It is.
Now, what about you guys when you march? Do you have music with you?
Yes.
I've seen you out there, but I can't, and I know I can see you dancing, but I can't remember what the source of the music was. So who usually plays with you?
It's a second line band. We've used different bands, different years, because a lot of the second line bands are in a Zulu club. So it's hard for us to get a band to come out that morning
because they're all in Zulu.
Right.
Yeah.
So either we have to come out really early in the morning, or we have to come out at like about 3 o'clock. Because it's just they're all in the second line.
Or both.
I mean in the Zulu
or both.
club,
huh?
Parade. So my family, like from the 1100 block of Dumaine to the 1500 block of Dumaine, my family goes back 6 generations. And the 5th generation was the one who had the club, the Gold Digger Baby Dolls.
Now let's deal with these generations. Okay, so the 6 generations back, we're talking about what years again? Is this the 20s? Are we saying?
No, that's.
Let's go further back. Yeah.
Well, my grandmother, when they became baby dolls, that was in 33, but and she was in the 1400 block of Dumaine. That's where she raised my mom. But she was raised
only in New Orleans would we be
block.
talking about a block.
Right. It's like 4 blocks. Within 4 blocks. 6 generations.
Wow.
I went all over Germany, Switzerland, Holland, Amsterdam, all over the United States, the islands, everything. And I came back to New Orleans, and I bought a house on Dumaine, and I was all excited, and I got my mom to come and look at it. And she said, well, you went all over the world and came back and bought a house in the next block.
Yeah. That's New Orleans. And,
yeah.
and you know something, I talk a lot to young folks who have left, right? Who left during, before the storm. But Katrina, we all talk about before and after Katrina and how Katrina was such a disaster. But you all were here. You know that those years before Katrina were not cool years here. Things were not going up. They were kind of going down. And so a lot of people left. But I have this very clear confidence that slowly but surely they're all trickling back because it's really hard to stay away from here.
I believe I was only going away from New Orleans after Katrina 3 weeks. I had recently moved on the West Bank, so where I lived didn't flood. So it was a way and an avenue that I was able to help my family members who wanted to come back to New Orleans to rebuild, come back. There's no place. It makes me think of, here we go, The Wizard of Oz. When Dorothy clicked her heels together and she just wanted to go home. And the 3 weeks I was away from New Orleans, that's the way I felt. I just wanted to click my heels, come back to New Orleans because there's no place like New Orleans.
Well, they can come back to New Orleans, but if you're from the 6th Ward, you can't. You can come home, but you can't come back to the 6th Ward because the houses are all taken.
What do you mean?
I mean, people came in from out of state and bought all the property up. So if you are 5, 6 generations from that area, you can come back to New Orleans, but you'd have to live in other areas. You can't live in that area because all the houses just about are owned by people from out of state.
People who are living there full time or people who are living there part time?
They live in there full time.
Mm-hmm.
They bought the houses, renovated them, and moved in. And I spoke to some of them, and the reason they bought a house in the Treme area is because they love the culture. But they didn't realize when they were moving in, the culture was moving out. But Mardi Gras Day, that doesn't stop the culture from coming back to that area. The baby dolls are there, the skeletons are there, the Indians are there, but we just don't live there. I lucked up and bought a house on Domain, and there's a couple of other people that bought houses or they have their parents' houses or their grandmother's houses, but it's very few. And they're the only ones who are still there. All the renters are gone, and they cannot come back to that area. Now, they can move, like, across St. Bernard or uptown or somewhere, but if you are 5, 6 generations born and raised in that area, they cannot come home. And Katrina was a catalyst in helping to do that gentrification.
Those folks who can't come home, is this something that they really talk about and concerned about and are sad about?
Oh, yeah. There was a club there called Joe's Cozy Corner. His son, little Joe, died. The week that his son died, there was 11 people who died from that area. 8 was from heart attacks, and little Joe was one of them. Trombone Shorty's aunt passed that same week. She had cancer, and 2, I think, got killed some kind of way in Texas. But it was 11 altogether, and 8 of them was heart attacks. And some of those people were like in their 40s. They were not like old people. But it was just so stressful when they came to the realization that they could not come home, and a lot of people are affected by that.
Is this something you're aware of too?
I'm not from the Treme area, and my family primarily lived in the 8th Ward, the 9th Ward, and the 7th Ward. So it didn't affect my family as much as Merline is speaking about, coming back and finding housing.
But people are moving into the 7th, 8th, and 9th wards now too.
They are.
I mean, newcomers too. So this is something that is very, very much on my mind because, again, I moved into Treme in 1972, 73 really. Well, I moved in 72 and then I bought a house in 73. And it's real weird walking down Miro or Tanti or Galvez and seeing all these young folks are from someplace else. And I worry about the same thing you're saying, is that the culture, what makes New Orleans and the culture is the people, these 6th-generation people you're talking about. So I worry about what the outcome of this all is, and I think it's something we have to work on. I think we have to work on this.
What
we
I
can't
really
just let
miss,
this go down the way it's going down.
Well, they own the property. I don't know what we can do. But what
there's
I
more
really
property there that needs to somehow through Nora, hello Nora, or other organizations need to look for ways of facilitating folks who are from there from a long time to be able to buy those properties more easily than they can now to maybe bring this back. This is a big concern. We're almost out of time. I want to talk more about this as we go along, and on the other hand, I want to come back to that wonderful moment when you sashay down the street. And this coming Mardi Gras, you're going to be out there, right?
Well, we have a art show coming up.
Tell me about it.
Well, there's going to be an art exhibit at Xavier University, October 13th. And Ruth has, I think she's done a remarkable job on the painting. I saw it when it was like half done. And I decided I didn't want to see it until the finished product. When it's unveiled and everybody sees it, it's going to be yay. And I want to be surprised like everyone else. This is her first solo exhibit. So she's a little nervous, but we're all going to come out and have a good time with the baby dolls, October 13th, Xavier University Art Department.
What time?
It's from 6 to 8 p.m.
6 to 8 p.m., October 13th at Xavier, an art show based on the baby dolls?
Based on the baby dolls.
Yes. Ladies, I've enjoyed this tremendously. I share your concerns. I share your love for what you do out there, and we'll have you back. And I can't wait for this year's Mardi Gras to see you out there. You got to give me a call now and tell me what time you're going to be out there, because you go morning, afternoon. I need to know, because I live walking distance from you on Dumaine, so I want to know.
Look at her.
Thank you. You see, now I like my song, but I really want, it ain't my fault. All right, it's Jean Nathan. This is Crosstown Conversations. We've had the baby dolls, Delish, and the Rollergirls. Maggie Mullins, thank you for putting together a great show. Bye-bye, everybody.